Hi my lovelies, so it's time for me to get the Christmas cake out and to pop the marzipan on. And this is the marzipan that I'm using from Sainsbury's. It's the golden one. So I've just got my little non-stick silicone sort of work surface cover that I use when I'm doing sort of pastries, that sort of thing. So I've got the marzipan out, the rolling pin, the little blue container you can see there has got ice and sugar, and in there I've got some heated up apricot jam. So as you can see, I'm just unwrapping the Christmas cake. I'm just folding over the paper because where I've previously been feeding cherry brandy into the cake, it was a bit sticky on that side of the baking paper. So I'm just popping some of the ice and sugar down onto the little silicone mat so the marzipan doesn't stick. And then I suddenly remember, oops, I need to pop some of the melted apricot jam onto the cake so that it can go a little bit cold, a little bit sticky before I pop the marzipan on. So I've finished putting the apricot jam onto the cake. So now it's time to start to roll out the marzipan. It is quite soft and pliable because I've had it sat out at room temperature for, a few hours. So as you can see, I'm just going to start to gently just roll it out, and I say gently because it's actually quite firm. Even though it's soft, it's still a quite firm sort of consistency, so it does take a little while. You have to be quite patient with it. So I just roll that out to the size that I need.
Who comes down the chimney?
think I've got it, you know, big enough, which I think I have done, I sort of drag the cake back over and lay the marzipan on top of the cake. So as you can see, I've done it so that it's big enough to be done in literally one piece. So it's almost like I'm putting a blanket of marzipan over the cake, and of course the jam is helping it to stick. So I'm just sort of tapping down the sides so that it's all nice and smooth. And then I take the knife to the bottom sort of edge of the cake so that I can trim it literally just along the edge to make a nice neat edge, and then with my thumb I'm just sort of working it down a little more just to make it look really neat. There you go, like that. So then I do the same thing all the way round. And then I just go over it, smoothing the corners down, and then popping some more ice and sugar onto the top, and just rubbing my palm over it just to smooth it out, and all around the sides. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it for 24 hours before I ice it. Okay, so it's the next day now, and I've left it for 24 hours. I'm just taking some previously warmed boiled water and just giving it a little brush over with a little pastry brush on the top and the sides, and then I'm just going to pop that to one side whilst I roll the icing out. And the idea of this is so that it just helps the icing to adhere to the marzipan. If you're going to just pop the icing onto your cake without any marzipan, then of course you still need to use something like apricot jam before you put the icing on. But as you can see, I'm now opening the icing, and I'm going to do a repeat of exactly what I did with the marzipan when it comes to rolling it out until I get it to the size that I need it to be for the cake. So I take the board that I'm going to be placing my cake on. As you can see, I'm undoing it, unwrapping it, and then I'm going to position the cake in the middle of this before I actually pop the icing on top of the cake. Okay, so that's all done, and as you can see, I'm just picking the icing up over the top of the rolling pin and popped it over like another little blanket over the cake. Popped some more icing sugar on the top, use the palm of my hand, and that helps to smooth the icing. And again, I'm going around the edges just to trim up the sides of the cake. What you'll see me doing now is just so that I can get the corners nice and neat. I'm just putting a little slit at the corner and then trimming off any excess. Like there you go, there's the little sort of slit that I'm doing, cutting off the excess, and then I'm just smoothing it around the corner, and then I do that on all four sides. And now I kind of get my cake decorations and just sort of play around a little bit to see where I want to put everything. This is a little fibre optic Christmas tree, so I've decided that's where I want it. So I've pushed that into the icing a little bit, and then as you can see, I'm putting all the little tiny silver balls that you can decorate with, and I'm just making a circle around the tree. So I continue to just put the little silver sugar balls all the way around in a circle, just as a little, not a centerpiece, but the main attraction to the cake, I suppose. And then I get the rest of my decorations out and have a play around before putting them exactly where I want them. And now you can see that I've popped the decorations that I'm using. I've got the tree, I've got a snowman, a lantern, like a street light lantern, a little robin and a Merry Christmas sign, and then all the way around the bottom of the cake I'm decorating it with the silver balls. And I added some little crystals just behind the tree. We actually had those little crystals as they were part of our wedding cake when Chris and I got married, and I've just sort of used them in Christmas cakes and various other things. We had way more than that, but that's all we've got now. And so it's very nearly finished, but not completely finished yet. You will see it in a minute, completely finished. How cute is the little snowman? I mean, sometimes I do a snow scene, you know, with all the snow on the top and all the peaks that you make with your icing. And other times I go, you know, like this, just very simplistic. Of course, when the children were little, they used to help to decorate it anyway. But these decorations, apart from the little fibre optic tree, which I actually got, I think I got that in Poundland actually, but the others are old. It's almost finished, and I decided to pop a navy blue ribbon around it, and I put a nice little bow on the corner, making that the front of my cake. So I've got the blue bow, the Merry Christmas, and then directly across the other side of the cake I've got the fibre optic tree, which I have turned on now so that you can see just how pretty it is. I hope you've enjoyed watching how I've decorated my Christmas tree for Vlogmas 2020, and I will put in the description box below the link to my video where I shared my recipe of how I actually made my Christmas cake. Take care, my lovelies. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love it if you could subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video.